Hey, I thought I'd do a quick port review for the PC version of Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Now, the first thing I should mention is that the game actually does have native support for PlayStation buttons and the PlayStation 4 controller in general. If you use big picture mode for other games, obviously if you use a DualShock 4 like I do, you know that a lot of games don't support it natively, and you can use the PlayStation controller support in Steam Big Picture mode to emulate a 360 controller and kind of remove the need for DS4 windows in most games. However, if you disable that in your big picture mode, you actually will get PlayStation buttons. That is a pretty big improvement over the other Tales ports on Steam, where there basically was no way to get PlayStation buttons outside of a fan mod. Now, in terms of the graphics options, there's not much here. I've heard from numerous people, and I can definitely confirm this myself, that the system requirements they have on the Steam page are basically like way overblown. A lot of people apparently that have like worse machines than I do, and I don't even have the best machine either. I have what's considered to be a mid-range machine at this point, especially with the new line of graphics cards coming out soon. They're all saying that it's barely using their CPU or GPU, so you probably can run this at 1080p 60 pretty easily. Now, if you have VSync off, then it will actually go like ridiculous frame rates apparently. So you may want to turn it on. I'm on a 144 Hz monitor, and the game usually seems to hover around 141 to 144 frames per second. And that persists throughout the entire game. It is different from the original 360 versions, where it was 30 FPS on the field and things like that. Now, I should warn people, the game assumes that you play like a Japanese player, or you play on the Japanese versions, you import them or something. The normal attack and arts buttons will be reversed when you start the game. So you'll definitely want to go in here and change that if you're used to pretty much any Tales game that's been localized, to be honest with you. Alright, so let's get into the game here. Now I'm going to load a previous save file here to demonstrate something. So when you start the game, you will get a bunch of DLC here. These are basically all the costumes that they charged real money for back when the game was on PS3. But if you go to the Steam page, this is also applicable on the other versions of the game as well. I assume it's going to be on the Switch version, but I don't have my copy of that game yet, so I don't know if it will be there, but I know it's also on PS4 and Xbox One. There's a pack here. Now, this is basically all the microtransaction, like Time Saver DLC that they had with the original versions of the game. I'm genuinely shocked that they give these out for free, because these basically just allow you to straight up break the game. So you may want to have some discretion using these if this is your first playthrough, but if you've played this game before, if you want to just get to the new content, or you want to get to a second playthrough and then use a guide to knock out all the side quests, because this game has pretty terrible, like missable side quest design, then you can actually just use these and plow through the game really quickly. I only used, I think I used like one of the level 5s. Actually, I used 2 of the level 5s, and that was it, since I haven't played the game in like a decade. There's a bunch of cool attachments here as well. So what this allows you to do is to essentially craft some of the endgame items at the beginning. And luckily there's this guy right here who's not gated by any, you know, scripted events or anything. You can actually just craft things right here. So there's a couple good things you can get potentially. You could get Tyrant Fist, but I'm not really sure if that would be worth it in the long run, because it's going to be a while before you have more overlimit. I'm actually not sure if it works if you have only one overlimit gauge. But you can also get backstep cancels. Combo Plus. The best one to get would probably be this, but it also gives you like 575 attack, so if you want to really break the game, you can use that, but I can't imagine it would be too fun. I would definitely use discretion using this, because the game is pretty hard to learn. This game is also a very big, like, late bloomer, so it's up to you. But there's lots of pretty cool options here. You'll also get 900,000 gold when you use the Time Saver DLC. You are always strapped for cash in this game on your first run, so it is nice to have that, but you want to have just a more natural experience, then you don't have to activate any of this stuff at all. Basically, the way it works is when you activate it, it will give you the items, but until you do that, they basically will just stay there. So let's load up another save here. So you see that the game is running at 144 frames per second. Basically, it's a variable frame rate as long as you're on the overworld, or basically everywhere. I'm kind of getting used to the manual cancels. That was something that was not in the original version, so I'm not really accustomed to it yet. Playing this game on manual is kind of difficult. It's not like Vesperia where it's leaps and bounds better. Semi-auto actually is better in some situations, like when you have over limit on. If you're playing on a DualShock 4, the button to change your combat style, meaning auto, semi-auto, or manual, will be on the touchpad, and you have to push it down all the way, so it can be a little bit more difficult to use that compared to the other versions. Now, the thing about this game that a lot of people are missing, there's been a lot of port reviews and stuff for the Switch version and things, is this is a very difficult game to stress test. It's not like other games, where you can just kind of put the most stressful characters on the screen and see how low the frame rate goes on different computers and configurations and things like that. Basically, this game, like, when you play it at the beginning and when you play it at the end, they're like two different games. At the beginning, things are very slow. The game gives you a lot of time to get accustomed to the systems and things like that. And then later on, you're doing like near infinite combos. Rita can literally fill the screen with projectiles. So I can't really comment on how stable the frame rate is. For me, it's been pretty much locked around 141 to 144 FPS, like I said, and that is with VSync on. However, that may be different depending on your rig. But I've seen a lot of people say that the game is not really using anywhere near as many resources as the Steam page seems to request. So the game should run pretty fine on budget gear. There hasn't really been anything about like cheat engine mods yet. It's basically just been, things like infinite health and stuff, which I think is kind of pointless in this game because they give you the Time Saver DLC for free. You can easily just mash buttons through the game if you use all of these. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my little port review for Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's going to take me a while to get used to playing on manual and the new manual cancel mechanics, so I may not record myself playing this a whole lot. I think this is going to be more of a casual game to me. If I can actually get used to playing on manual, considering that I played like 200 hours of the original game on semi-auto, then maybe I'll put up some challenge runs or something, but for now I'm definitely struggling to get to that point, so we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Peace.